Welcome to Easy Quilting. This is the Tri-Rex template. I'm Jennie Rayment. It's a really super template to do because it creates a lot of different designs. One of its probably the most famous designs it does is something called 5440 or Fight, which is the block that I have here. But you can actually use the template itself to make a whole load of different designs if you so wish. The template comes in two parts. Part 1, the larger triangle, cuts out the middle piece, and part 2, the smaller one, does either side. This is cut out and is mirror imaged. Absolutely essential it is mirror imaged, otherwise the pieces won't fit and they might not be the right way around. When you get your Tri-Rex tool, if you turn it over, you will find on the back there are instructions as to how you cut. Now this is a multi-sized template. You have a variety of sizes. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sizes, all within one tool. When it comes to cutting them out, if you cut out the center section, the larger triangle, which in this case I'm doing with the beige fabric, just open your fabric out and cut them singly. There's no need to cut these in pairs unless you're going to be making a lot of them. Take the template, lay it on the fabric. Now I've chosen to use a 4.5 inch wide strip. If you happen to have a jelly roll, you could always buy the little Tri-Rex minis because they fit a jelly roll an absolute treat. So there are little minis that are just for a jelly roll, but you can also do your 2.5 inch strip on this one if you so desire. So place the template on the fabric, cut up one side. Never ever cut towards you, that's an absolute no-no. Turn the fabric over, replace the template and cut up the other side. Very simple to do. If you find your template wobbles at all, you could always use the Easy Quilting clear fabric grabbers. These can be put on the back of the template to stop the template from sliding. Very useful addition to your tools, and that will stop it from sliding. So one little easy clear fabric grabber on the back, press down on the template firmly and cut up the side. To make one block, you'll need one large triangle for the middle. You'll then need 2 smaller triangles for the side. When it comes to cutting the triangles for the side, you absolutely must have your fabric double. Take the material, lay it on the cutting mat, chop off the end of the fabric. So just let me get rid of the selvages, using either the big Easy Quilting 24 inch ruler or you could use any one of the smaller ones. Cut up the side, discard the selvage. Now taking the smaller of the triangles, place the triangle onto the material. And once more you'll be aligning it with the same measurement, so 4.5 inches. Oh dear, I've left a bit of the selvage on. Let me trim a bit more back. Never leave the selvage on because you'll often find that sometimes that little bit just sneaks through and ruins your finished piece of work. So pop it back again, take the template. I'm aligning the 4.5 inch line with the very edge of the fabric. Cutting out 2 layers at the same time. Cut up the edge of the template. Now you may notice that the top of the template here is missing a tiny fraction. This is most important. If I was in Italy teaching, I would say molto importante. Because when you place it on the block, you need to cut off that little piece there. Just take it off. The reason for doing that off is it's going to mark your seam allowance. So that is very important, that little piece. To make the single block, if you take the center section and you take these 2 pieces and they're going to be added, one's going to be added to one side and one's going to be added to the other side. Put the 2 pieces right sides together. And what we're looking at is, can you see where they all line up beautifully because I cut off that little end there. Line it up absolutely up there and you are going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. If you're not terribly sure about what is a 1/4 inch seam allowance, you could always draw it on with something like the 1/4 inch ruler. Simply place the ruler along the edge of the seam and draw beside it. That will give you an accurate seam allowance. You're going to sew one piece onto one side, as I've done here. Open it out and add the other piece to the other side. And here again, when you come to add the other piece to the other side, let's make sure I get the right section. Just line up that little important piece with the edge there, pop it on the top and sew right up there. Once you've done that, I suggest you press the seams open and flat. And very quickly, if you were to make 4 of these, you could put them together to make the classic 54-40 or fight block, which is 4 of these. You could have a plain centre. You could have 4 sets of 2.5-inch squares, 1 for the corners there, 1 for the corners there, and 1 lot there, and 1 lot there. Sew it together to make the block, and it could look something like this. You might like to change your mind with the fabrics, perhaps use it for a bag, and here we have Scotty dogs used. You might wish to use some rather nice Japanese fabric, and here we have Japanese fabrics used, very carefully fussy cut out in the middle, because all the easy quilting rulers you can see through, so you can fussy cut. You might want to put 4 of them together, and then you'll get quite a different effect happening. You might wish to do the very famous patchwork classic design called Storm at Sea. And because we have a multi-size template, you can make these things up any size you like, because the Trirex template gives you the chance to have small ones, larger ones, and very large. It is a multi-sized template. And if you didn't fancy using it for that, there's no reason why you couldn't make up just one of them and add a little stem, because I think if you make up one of the Trirex ones in green, give it perhaps snowy sky beside it, give it a trunk, you've got a little tree. So inspiration for using the Trirex templates is manifold. Great template to have, Trirex templates by Easy Quilting.